This is part 3 of the head-on PCB repair. I have taken the time to build up and program the EPROM for the, I built up the EPROM replacement PCB, and I programmed up the ROM based on files that I was able to download through MAME from ROM Nation or whatever. And the ROMs that were in the zip file or the archived file did have 7 ROMs, and they did have the same part numbers. Now they had A and B and stuff like that. I've programmed the C ones. They're everyone that had that letter C on it, so I assume that's revision C, and these revision A would be the first version of it. Hopefully I've got the right combination of ROMs to where this will work. But anyway, they're programmed in that. So what I'll do is I'll remove all these ROMs because I did not install a transceiver here to isolate the bus from the rest of the board. So I have to remove the ROMs, and I have to remove the processor chip, plug the board in here, and plug the processor into this board. So I'm excited. Let me get it all set up and see if it works. All right, so I've got the ROM board in here. This light is on, which tells me reset is high, so that means it should be active. And there's the screen. I am getting some different fluctuations and stuff on the screen, but it doesn't look very good. It could be a bad RAM at this point. I'm not sure. I'm going to replace all these RAMs with 4027s and see if that makes a difference. If it does, then I will swap out each one of these RAMs one at a time to figure out which ones are bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't have 100% confidence in this board being good, but I'm getting a similar result to using this ROM board as I did those ROMs. So maybe the ROMs are good and it's something else. I guess the next step is replace all the RAMs, see what happens. I'll be back. All right, so I've been probing around on this board, and I decided to check the power going to the RAMs, and I've discovered that the minus 5 volts is not making it to the RAMs. So they're not going to work in that state. I checked my 12 volt input, and it's not working. So my 12 volt power supply wall wart died. It's real hot. But I checked this when I first put the board together, and the voltage was there. This was working. All that wall wart does is supply the voltage for this regulator to work. This is a minus 5 volt regulator, and it was working when I first started messing with this. So apparently it died. I have to get another power supply, so let me see if I can dig one up. 12 volts, pretty common. Now, what was a power rating on it? Because the those types of regulators are usually only good for 1 amp, maybe 1.5 amp, depending on its duty. See, this is supposed to be able to supply 400 milliamps. Okay, so maybe that's the problem. Let me think about this for a second. 5 volts times 1 amp is 5 watts, and this is the supply is a 4.5 watt. I mean, it should be close enough. I don't see these RAMs taking that much power on the minus 5 only. That's usually just, low current. All right, so apparently my power supply died. Let me get another one and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so I've got another power supply now. And it is outputting a negative voltage, but as soon as I apply it to the board, it goes to 0. So we've got something shorted. And look at all these blue blobs here. Each one of these blue blobs is a tantalum capacitor. Those short all the time. It's like the most common failure in a power supply if you get tantalum capacitors. Well, I noticed that when I ohm out this one, it is shorted, that one. The other ones all check out, but you know what? If I'm replacing one, I'm replacing them all. So all these are going to be replaced with electrolytic capacitors, and I think there's one more right here. I'll replace it. I think this is for 5 volts coupling. Oh, there's another one too. So it looks like I've got 6 different caps that I need to replace, and then I will continue testing. I'll be back. Okay, so that was the culprit right there. He was dead shorted, or is dead shorted. So I'm going to reconnect everything, but I just wanted to comment on these capacitors. All of them were 10 microfarad capacitors. There were 3 for a rating of 25 volts and 3 with a rating of 35 volts. So I just put 50 volt rating, 10 microfarad for all of them. You could even go larger. You could go 50 microfarad and 30 and 50 volts, whatever. These fit in nicely though, and their voltage is overrated from what they had originally, so it'll be fine. Well, let me get it back together and we'll try again. Okay, so we've got -5 volts now. The RAM is looking different. I would say it's looking better. I mean, the screen, the RAMs seem to be giving more detailed information to the screen. Now, the EPROMs needed -5 volts too. So I'm inclined to go ahead and take this board out because I don't know if this is going to work or not, and put the EPROMs back in and see if it works. So let me do that next and see what happens with it having -5 now. So with the EPROMs back in and the processor back into its spot there, that's what we get now. That looks interesting. It's a solid, clean image. Nothing's changing. I'm seeing activity on the data and address lines going to the EPROMs. Messing around with these RAMs make things change. Made the colors change a little bit. Pushing down on them, wiggling them. I'm wondering if these sockets don't need to be replaced on these RAMs. Can't seem to get it to change anymore though. Let me cycle the power. Okay. So once it resets, it just puts straight garbage up. But I know these RAMs, well, honestly, can these RAMs die if the -5 volts isn't there? I wonder if they're all dead now. Maybe that's the problem. I'll have to look that up and see. It seems like I remember something about if you're missing a supply, it knocks the chips out, but I don't know if it was these particular ones, 4027s. All right, well, anyway, those capacitors, that was a big thing to fix. It was not that way the first time I powered it up. I did have -5. I had checked it. I just didn't know that tantalum had shorted, and it knocked out my power supply as well, which sucks. All right, well, anyway, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to consider replacing these RAM sockets next. Actually, I think I'll go ahead and put the other ROM board in just for funsies, because I don't know if these ROMs are good or not. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight.